All right, good afternoon, everyone. The trip's been, geez, shoot, that was almost 2 weeks ago I left. So we've been crunching the numbers. I've wrote down everything I said, everything I wrote down, everything I photographed, and just over 1,003 miles, 1,616 kilometers in an electric vehicle. And I didn't write that down. Well, we can do that now, huh? So, awesome trip. So this is a 21 Nissan Leaf, and it's S Plus. So this is the longest range of the Nissan Leafs or whatever. I guess 62-hour battery. So the thing was to do a challenge through West Virginia and then take the hardest part. There's no fast charging through the I-77 corridor in West Virginia, and there's a huge gap. The last thing is Electrify America in Cambridge, Ohio, which is it's easy to reach from here. It's, I don't know, it's maybe 100 and so miles, right around 100. It's actually off the first exit of I-70. So we did we did a loop around there for no reason. The one we needed for Chatham for the Nissan Leaf was down, and I called about it, and they said it overnight it had been shut down, and there's parts on order and stuff. Because I checked everything the night before. That was our first charge. We didn't need it. What we were going to do is keep an eye on battery heat, since this is an air-cooled battery system, and heat up just enough to, it's our first long trip, make sure we have enough to get to the next place. So basically we went out of our way, and we also did the same thing in Canton, between the Lincoln Highway, US 30 and I-77 South. You're in the right lane, all of a sudden they add 2 or 3 more lanes and you need to be on the right. And it was sort of like that a few years ago, and they just added more lanes, so I had to circle around for that. So a few extra miles each one of those. So what we did, you get down to the red, is we exited I-77 for Route 7 along the Ohio River. And Pomeroy was just, well, it's something I put on the list and printed out, just like the Progressive commercial. Don't print the internet, or I printed the internet. I wanted something in big letters that I could look down, pull out, and then voice into my, I guess it was the Google Maps. So we voiced that in through the Android Auto connection on the smartphone. So Pomeroy is Mark Porter Chevy. It's like a brand new place. There's no traffic because it's a dead-end street near a school. And they got a new charge point charger there, and the price is reasonable. It's CCS or Chatham. So we had a sandwich while we were charging. Checked out everything, make sure everything was good. We walked around and looked at their cars. And like I said, the reason we headed there is we already had one fail. It was just in case. So we headed down Route 7, and we didn't really need to do this because you can catch US 33 back to I-77. I-77 comes over that way, almost parallels the Ohio River. But, I've never done it before, and I'm glad I went down because the Gallipolis, Ohio thing turned out to be a pretty cool addition. And that was our major first charge on the border of West Virginia and Ohio. So it's at the municipal building in Gallipolis, and you can walk around there. There's places to shop. You can walk down the Ohio River, and just short of Gallipolis, there's a beautiful interstate quality rest stop on Route 7, Ohio. And it's got the Silver Bridge thing there. And I didn't know they had the link. It's in the video. from the car window, and I missed it because my mind's on other things. So now I want to go back and look at this link. It's a sample link of like the one that broke the collapsed bridge in 1967. And then a cousin mentioned the Mothman thing, and I thought it was a bird that I got in a photo. So I didn't learn that until on the way home when I looked everything up. So once I get to Gallipolis, headed down back of Route 7 and then US 35 on the Silver Memorial Bridge, the replacement. And, you know, first trip, I was planned my lunch in Hurricane, West Virginia. And there's a connecting road, Tees Valley, that connects US 35 to I-64. And it has a Tesla charger, and I've got a Tesla adapter for the Nissan. Well, it's pretty damn slow. I don't recommend you go in there unless you eat really much slower than I did. And I was relaxing. They had the music on real loud. Best French fries I think I've ever had. The chicken sandwich was all right. And then I got the Diet Dr. Pepper, cherry vanilla. And went out and pulled the car off the charge and headed to I-64. And then before long, you're in Charleston hooking up with I-77 back on the corridor there. And I planned on more rest stops. It's pretty heavy traffic and everything. The rest areas were full, and I didn't have to stop because I used Wendy's. That was our planned stop. In fact, we used that on the way home. And the double burger was the second best hamburger I ever had at a Wendy's. And the fries, excellent. The bathroom was okay the first time. It was clean the second time. And it was busier the second time as I showed up earlier in the day. So we went to Pipestem, West Virginia. It's a place we located like 5 years ago, coming back from Myrtle Beach. Got a neck injury, got a back injury, military neck injury, railroad. The car can go further than I can go. So that was my planned stop for the night. It's the first place I've ever saw car chargers. And we had a 2003 Cadillac DeVille. So free charging. The room was like $100 or $101 a night. I planned on getting a cabin all to myself, but I'm glad, you know, since I went to North Carolina the next day, it would have just went to waste. I recommend getting a cabin. I like big space, you know. I've had little rooms in the military and nursing home and all that, and it wasn't much more. I think it was like $245 for a 2 or 3 room cabin. So I just got the room, made my sandwiches, all these ingredients pretty much, all these Diet Cola, which I recommend, and bought a new cooler, a little soft cooler to take with me. So I had sandwich when I arrived too. So the chargers down there are, you got 2 J1772. If you turn on the video for that, it should be in at least 2 videos, arriving, leaving, maybe 3. They seem to put out a little more juice than what I'm doing at home. When I went out to check on the car, watching the Ken Burns special that first Tuesday night, it was much further along than I thought. So, and like I said, since nobody was there, I put it on a timer, allowed the battery to cool down a couple hours to give the car a rest. So the next day, waited a bit for the fog to dissipate, and we headed to Wytheville, Virginia. So on the border of Virginia and West Virginia is the first, well, it used to be the second tunnel going south because they closed the one in West Virginia and bypassed it. So the Google map said, welcome to Virginia, and I got a kick out of that right in the middle of the tunnel. So they've got the prices for that. That was, we just put a bid in there because it's quite a bit round trip, and you want a little extra or whatever, you know. Like, people don't get comfortable, especially on a trip through the mountains there, below 3/8 of a tank or whatever, or a quarter tank. Some people get nervous. But, so we hit Wytheville on the way down, and then we hit Wytheville on the way back. And the reason we hit it on the way back is it's right next to a Bojangles, and that was our second goal on the trip, was to eat Bojangles chicken once or twice. And we overdosed on the Bojangles chicken. So we spent the afternoon in Mount Airy, North Carolina, talked with the guy that does the Barney stuff there, and there's like police cars all over the place. You can get tours in the police cars. The plan was to eat at the Bojangles there, and I kind of screwed up. I should have wrote the directions down. I had no phone signal, nothing to tell me where anything was at in Mount Airy, so be aware if you go there. Plan your stuff out ahead of time. So that's why I went back to North Carolina, Virginia, to get the second charge or whatever, and the chicken, and head home with the AC on. So charge points, those are all in, those are Pomeroy, Gallipolis, and we were pretty well charged when we left West Virginia, day 3. And we only did one charge on the way home, and that was Pomeroy. So that's part of that charge point there. That's the 2 partial charges on the way down, and the 3 full charge, or the 1 free charge on the 1 full charge on the way back. So, like I said, there's 2 down, only 1 charge coming back. I did hit Wendy's that added 15 miles on the way back, and that's just, it's not worth stopping for. Actually, we're stopping as a rest stop to get the food and make the transition from US 35 to I-64, because that usually comes up 1 exit before the Tees Valley, which is Hurricane West Virginia. So and the Silver Bridge thing and the Mothman, you got to look that up. So that whole thing was going a little bit extra. It's just raised 2 weeks of research and fun on YouTube, and I watched the Richard Gere movie and everything, so that was pretty cool. So, like I said, $223 with tax for 2 nights in Pipestem, and I think that's cheaper than it was 4 years ago, because they included, I'm pretty sure they included buffet dinners. That's kind of stopped with COVID. So the Electrify America, same thing there, no phone signal, no app working. My phone wasn't reaching a tower to get the app working. And Electrify America won't, I made a recommendation. They do cards like ChargePoint. Oh, I forgot the G in ChargePoint there. Self-editing here. But, and we'll do this here. Oh, I guess we put it in the right place, huh? There we go. Sort of missed it, but I always want to do that. The Volkswagen Taos, add the little arrow with the C to make it talkative. So, yeah, the Tesla thing only added free miles. It added free 15 miles, and that's just, it's not worth it. So you can go down right now, since there's no charging in Marietta or anything in West Virginia that's level 3 quick charge. You can hit the charge point at Mark Porter, Chevy, and Pomeroy, but be aware they only keep it on when they're open. They shut the damn thing down when they close, which, if you got security cameras, just leave it on. So the one in Gallipolis, that's 24/7, and they've got 2 units there, and nobody was at either one. Electrify America on the way down, there was a Mustang Mach-E charging, and that was it. So, and there was nobody at Pipestem, and there was nobody at Wendy's. So I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this stuff when everybody has electric vehicles. So let's see, $25.75 for ChargePoint. That's 3 charges. Electrify America, that's 2 charges. After my discount, I had to call, because I pay membership fees. And then Pipestem, $223. That's 2 nights free charging too. Where can you stay where you get a free tank of gas? And your West Virginia Turnpike is all the way up to $4.25 per toll booth, 3 down, 3 back, $25.50. And the total average is 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour. And let's see, we did the home charge right there, and we didn't go, we just went 80-some%. So you can add a little bit to that. We added 45.38 kilowatt hours. All the circuits here are pretty much metered. And we're paying 4.98 cents per kilowatt hour right now. And that came out to 226. So if you wanted, you know, heck, you could make that $3 if you're happy. So basically you take the battery size and multiply it by your kilowatt hour from 0 to 100%, but you don't go 0 to 100%. So it's pretty cool. Came home and had a few miles left. It seemed to get a lot of regeneration on I-77 with the climbing and descending, more than with the more gentle terrain in Ohio. So, but that's not bad. Pomeroy to home or whatever. And then there's Nissan in Dover, Ohio. Last time I was there, their J1772 connector was coming apart. So, but you can get free charging there next to Shoney's and stuff. And I decided, let's take a chance. Huh. Somebody's at the front door. I'm not there.
Motion detected at the back door.
Oh, the wife's home from work. That's her car come up driveway. In fact, she's coming here. All right. Cut you off and I'll see you in a bit. So, back on 3192 for all the level 3 charging for the just over 1,000 miles, 1,616 kilometer trip. I'll park my ass here in a chair. And then, you know, like I said, if you want to make it 3 or whatever, but going to be a little bit more than 45 kilowatts because I didn't go to a full charge because I really haven't driven it or whatever. I've still got close to 200-mile range since I come home. I just haven't went anywhere since I came home. Like I said, bad neck, bad back. It takes a lot to recover. So that was a cool trip. I'm glad I did it. Now I want to go back and see all the Mothman and the Silver Bridge stuff. I mean, it's right there in one of the videos out the front window. You can see the leak. How did I miss it? I would have took pictures. I would have played with it. Oh my God, I've heard about the Silver Bridge most of my life. And just happened upon it. So that's Gallipolis, Ohio, and Point Pleasant's across there. You can see those signs in the videos and stuff. And I think it's about the last video. You can see the rain vapors turning back into clouds coming off the West Virginia mountains and stuff. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I didn't use a better route planner or anything because you can actually pay money to have that done better, but I haven't tried that yet. I can do pretty good on my own. And like I said, you make it to Pomeroy. If you're coming from a little bit more west, you can go down through Columbus and hit Athens or one of those other towns before you cross the West Virginia border, either at Pomeroy, which would be weekdays when Chevy's open, or Gallipolis 24/7 at the municipal building. And Electrify America in Withville is at the Sheet Station. And there's a Walmart across the street you can see, and Bojangles. We brought some of that back to the room, and we ended up having to throw some away. We need somebody with us to help clean that mess up. So we got our fill. It was a great Wendy's down and back. It was a good stop. That was one of the best Wendy's I've been to. Second best hamburger and the best fries I think I've had anywhere. Or just plain fries without a coating on them. So we'll see what the electric bill does. They advertise about 5 cents a kilowatt hour 50 years ago when I was a kid. That stuff sticks in my type of brain I have. It sticks in the brain. So we're just under a nickel a kilowatt hour. And the turnpike fees, that's quite a bit. That's what they advertise. I guess I need to go into Easy Pass and see if I get a discount for that. That might be less too. And West Virginia has the wimpiest transponder readers on any turnpike I've been on. I actually had to back up, and the lady said, put it in your window. And every time I went through, I had to hold it in the window. any other place. I've even had it where it's laying on the seat. So, oh crap, I didn't put it in the window, and it reads in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland on the Chesapeake Bridge. So there's the thing there. Yeah, you almost need to put your transponder on a little broomstick and hold it out the window for West Virginia. It's that bad. It's pretty bad. How many of you, I mean, let Pennsylvania just drive through, hey, you're good. You're full speed and stuff. But West Virginia, they definitely went with the lowest bidder on those transponder readers. So, like I said in the video, when I say it overheated or whatever, that was that, probably from sitting in the, it didn't overheat. It got the 2/3 scale, which is halfway between the halfway point, which is normal, and the first overheat, the first warning overheat. So it was halfway between there. It was 2/3, never reached anything close to overheating. So you definitely could make a, from here, a Pomeroy. Well, pipe stem. Well, you know what? And that's the other thing I'll have to find out. Because once you get off the I-77 for pipe stem, you got quite a ways to drive. And need to find the distance. I guess I can make a little video on that. The distance between I-77 and pipe stem, McKeever Lodge. And then the same exit and the Withville, Virginia, Electrify America. So I try to keep it at 65. You know, I went over 70 a few times. Just but I kept it in Echo, one Eco drive, one pedal drive most of the time, unless I had to pull out somewhere. But pretty awesome, and I never used cruise control. I drove everything with my foot, like, you know, the good old days, like I used to. And I used AC coming back from Mount Erie, and then from the Withville back to pipe stem. So that would have been the second day of the trip or whatever. And other times I kept the the passenger side window cracked, and then the driver's side rear window for airflow. And there was no pressure buildup, not too much noise, and that worked out perfectly. So, and then when I had to, use the fan and the stuff to clear the windows and the wipers and all that stuff. So there's no oil changes. There's just nothing. There's nothing to check. I filled up the washer fluid. I'm kind of tickled about all this, and even my battery health went up. It improved on the trip. So the discharging cycles in 3 days, even the DC stuff, I was kind of scared it was going to ruin things. It actually improved them. So that's, you read that through the leaf spy and stuff, and I guess I could have done the temperatures through the leaf spy, but there was no overheating. I might say that because it was off the normal. So there was no overheating. So basically you could leave Ohio and hit Pomeroy charge point, probably make it down to Withville, Virginia, at the Sheets, Electrify America. And then the other alternative, if, you know, Cambridge was going, and that's where we lost our little, where we were just going to put in enough to make some insurance, and so we wouldn't have to do a long charge on the Ohio River. So if you go to Withville, and then I think you might be able to make it to Linesville, North Carolina, if you got my range. And there's a charger there. I forget the name. It's kind of a silly southern name or whatever. It'll come to me once I get the video off and everything. And it's not far from South Carolina. It's an electric company. It starts with a P, I think, or something. And so you can charge there, and you could probably make it to Myrtle Beach with 3 charges. And 3 charges, maybe 3.5 on the way home. So the cool thing is, plan your route. Look for places you want to eat or places where you want to sleep that offer free charging. Or look for places that have free level 2 charging that are tourist attractions. I mean, I stop at lakes over here and stuff, and all that. Most of that's paid for Volkswagen for the diesel pollution thing, the fines and stuff. A lot of states turned that into free charging. Around here in Pennsylvania, even the state of Florida did that. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it. And I had a whole sheet of paper of level 2s through West Virginia in the comments off of PlegShare. There's some nightmare, even Nissan dealers down there or whatever. But I had everything planned out step by step on 3 sheets of paper. And then the cool thing is when you're going down I-77 in Virginia, and you go into North Carolina, there's a large downgrade there. And we gained 24, I think it's 24 miles. It's in the video. And actually the battery percentage went up 1%, and then it went back down. But from Virginia on that downgrade, and it kept going up. It's funny when you get down on that downgrade and you think you're on level ground, and you're not. And you take the I-74 exit, which heads toward Myrtle Beach, and you get off the first exit, which is Mount Airy, and right there is, I gained 24 or 26 miles because the car generates electricity when you're going downhill. And that's the other cool thing about single pedal. The car doesn't get away from you. A lot of overdrive cars, when you're going downhill, and even 3-speed, the old cars, you're going down a steep hill like that, you got to keep touching the brake. Well, with the single pedal drive, you don't have to do that. And we want to make sure you're not overcharged then at Withville, where you don't have the regeneration. So, yeah, we gained miles or whatever, and those didn't disappear till we got back on I-77, so that held out good. So that gives you miles, and then, it's an adjustment, altitude, your altitude adjustments and all that. Stuff that affects gas cars but doesn't show up as much in the gauges as it would on an electric car. Pretty damn enjoyable. Tickled pink, I did it. Not one problem. They had one misdirection on an exit in Canton, and they electrified America down in Cambridge, and everything worked out fine. It worked out great. Learned a lot. It's going to be a cool way to travel, and, normally my goal is to take a car somewhere and do the free charging and nice places to eat, bike trails, lakes and stuff. When you go out hiking, you can go sightseeing, watch the boats, and your car's getting free charging. You pack a lunch. I'm turning into my parents, I guess, just like the Progressive commercial says. Cheap bastard. But it's pretty cool. It's cheap bastard traveling. And holy crap, I enjoyed every bit of that. I got to see about getting the tires rotated or whatever. That light came on right before the trip, so we'll see about doing that. I did change the cabin air filter yesterday. It's one of those things where you're like, at my age and size, you're like, that one I think I should have paid for it. You got to take the glove box out, actually with screws, and the opening for the damn thing's like half the size of the filter. So I took a carbon one out. I think, like I said, the car had 5,900 miles when I got it. It was, they said, an early turn-in lease. It looks like they changed the cabin air filter with one that was carbon, and I put in a plain one. Was the only thing I could find in town. But the confusion came. Theirs was upside down and backwards. The airflow was backwards. So I had to get up back on YouTube and stuff and check everybody's videos to see which way the damn thing went in, come out. There's a little tab that sticks out, I think, from the top. And mine was sticking out from the bottom, I think, when I took it out. So, new air filter. I'm probably going to change that more than any other car and stuff. And I'll go back to a carbon one next time. So, I haven't figured out how much windshield washer fluid I use, but the car needs washed. And damn good trip. Oh, is that damn good car. Holy crap. What a car. A Nissan Leaf is like the least of the electric cars, they said. I don't know. I was thinking about going with the CCS and the liquid cooling on a Chevy Bolt EUV, but if I upgrade, it's going to be a 23 Nissan Leaf, but it'll have the 115 range. But I really don't need the cruise control. The wife's Equinox seems to have the steering cruise control or whatever, so I got to read up on that. And we almost hit 36 miles a gallon with our Equinox with a 1.5 turbo. So if you're out there in PlugShare, enter in the status, coil up your cords, not too small, off the ground, leave everything neat, and just have a good time. I think this is a great time to own an electric car. Like I said, if everybody else has one, I'm not going to have fun. And all those people that complain about them, you sure as hell don't want them old geezers to be driving in electric cars. I wonder how they put gas in the cars. Like, holy crap. So, this is awesome. And the other thing to talk about is the travel people did. All those motels up and down all these 2-lane roads. They were all used years ago. Gas stations, mostly daytime. Only shady ones with condom dispensers were usually open late at night, even 40 years ago. It was hard to find a gas station traveling at night. So, yeah, people complain about the weirdest things. So plan everything out. Don't trust, I wouldn't trust, like I said, even if you do a better route planner, you're going to look into PlugShare and see what the statuses are on what you're coming across. Look for the good, look for the bad, how often something's down, and if it's up 100%. I guess an EVgo up here toward Cleveland just went down or whatever, and it's a brand new place, put out late winter, early spring. So, charge point so far is about 100%. I've used ChargePoint, Electrify America, and EV Connect. I've only used one of those in New York State. That was good, and it was real cheap too. Used a lot of charge points, and then most of the ones like Clipper Creek and some other ones that are free. It's good. It's really good, and the home charging's cheap. Good range, and plenty to see. And that's the other thing when you make trips. All those are called roadside attractions. So people stopped years ago. They took their time traveling and stuff. They weren't in a hurry. And it's actually an excellent way to travel. I've done the wild traveling when I was young, LA, Seattle, even Cleveland and Akron a little bit. And take your time. Stop along the way and see something. Stop rushing to get someplace. Pick a spot on your vacation. The third of the way, a half a way, find an interesting place to stop you never would have stopped at before. Take a break, get something to eat, stop running yourself ragged, and do the same thing on the way back. It's a better way to travel. It's a much better way to travel. So be safe out there. Plan ahead. Take care of those chargers. And enter stuff into PlugShare so everybody else knows what's going on. All right. See you on the next video.